You can still get your life back. Get your life back. It's real. Get your life back. Get your life back.
Hey everyone, we are in our next portion. I'm so happy we are moving right along with this whole course and workshop. And I really, really hope you're getting something out of it, at least get you started on thinking intentionally about the rest of your life, what you want to do, knowing that there's many more aspects to you. So after you have done the previous exercises, you should have something. You should have discovered something more about yourself and start on a path of learning more about who you are and the many parts of you, the many hats that you wear. But this next exercise is something that I did personally. And it really has to do with also connecting your character and personality to your purpose and your passion. We've done the skill set things. Some of you still working on that. Your skills, the knowledge that you have gained over the years, your life experiences, all of the different ways that you served in the earth this up until this point. But now I want you to look at your personality. I want you to look at your character, your influence, your impact that you have on other people, that you have on yourself, and in everything that you do. And look, I want you to make the connections, because there are connections. So these are also indicators or also ways to help you think about what it is that you might want to do. Think of your personality. And a lot of us do this already. Some of you know, for example, you're good at, connecting people together. So let's just use the job title of a dating coach. Just want to put that out there. Sometimes a person who comes into that line of work or decide to become a dating coach is because they feel like they have a knack of getting people together, of doing that, hooking up people. And I don't mean hooking up in a bad way, because we changed the words today, so now it's like you got to be so thoughtful about, okay, can I use that word anymore? Because now it means something different because the meanings of words change. However, that individual realized that they have a way of connecting people. Matchmaking is the better word I was looking for. And so they realized, you know what? So this is what the entrepreneurial mindset says. I'm so good at this. I should make this a business and then make some money off it, doing something I love to do. For number one, you're providing a service because you're connecting people, because it's hard sometimes. We live these busy lives, so it's hard to find somebody, sometimes finding somebody locally. But if you're in that role of matchmaking, you already have done, if you're already in that role, you've done the research, you know what platforms to go to and what social networks and how to connect people together. Or maybe you have a dating site where you're connecting men and women together. So I'm just saying, just giving an example, the person use their personality, use their strengths, right? Their way or they knack of just joining people together to connect them. Now, of course, the people have to do the work after that, but I just wanted to use that example. I could have used a better example, but that's the one I came up with really, really quick. So into this, and I just want to show you what I've done. Okay, here we go, share. There we go. Okay, so again, like I said, this is something I did, and I thought it'd been a good idea, or another method that worked for me and is working for me still. Identifying my own passions and purpose entailed, this is what it entailed, me listing words to describe my personality traits, my hobbies, and my interests. And as you can see, this is the list that I have for myself, which is working creative. I'm a creative individual, and so I love working with my hands. So things that I've done with my hands, like created my own natural line of products. I remember somebody asked me if I wanted to do private labeling or something where I use another company who manufactures the product and I just put my name on it. I said, no, I'm not really ready for that yet, because I actually still love making the product. It's therapeutic for me. I love doing it. I was in the beginning stages, first of all, so I just really started my line and just launched it. So of course, usually at the beginning of doing something new, you still love to do it. Something about it which is passion. I was passionate about making these things for my customers, my clients, and then just selling it to a broader market. But I wasn't at that stage. But I'm creative. I always come up with something. I'm like an inventor. I'm like, okay, what can I do with this? My mind just goes there. So it's something I can't help. That's another part of my personality. And that also helped me to realize that I am, again, I mentioned before, the forerunner, a visionary. And when I understood what a visionary is, I was like, okay, so that's what I am. So like I said, these are the big reveals that you get. You find out more about who you are, maybe why you don't fit well in certain environments, maybe why it's hard for you to sit at a desk from 9 to 5 because you're such a creative and you like to be doing things, or you like to be, what I say, in front of the camera person, the person who performs, the person who likes to get up front in the room, the one who likes to entertain. When you're that person, and you start thinking about what profession could I get into, or what kind of business can I create where I'm able to use this on a full-time basis and make money off of it because I love to do it, but also making other people happy. So let's move into, so talent acquisitionist. Again, when you're like a talent acquisitionist, and that person can either work as like an HR person, a human resource person, or a person who recruits people to work at a certain company, or company, organization. And so the talent acquisitionist, that's a tongue twister for me. You try to find people for maybe a company, maybe yourself, to see if their character, their personality, then their talents and gifts and skills match the role that you're trying to fill as a talent acquisitionist. And so you're matching the talent, with the position, with the job. And so that's what that person does. And you know what? A talent acquisitionist have to have all of the most of the above attributes that I mentioned, that I found within myself as well, to be able to do some kind of matchmaking. Like, wow, that's another form of matchmaking. This person fits this company well. And that's what a human resource specialist does when they're interviewing you. They're seeing what you can bring, what you can add to the table, what you can bring, what attributes you have, what strengths you have that can help this company. So film writer. And I used to do this as a little girl. Like I said, I used to create my own little skits and little shows and in the book. And so some of the exercises I have, and not in this course, but actually on YouTube, I have a video where I talk about going into your childhood, and I might have mentioned it in here as well, and remembering what your passions were, things that you really love. And I did mention, I think, when I talked about what games you like to play and all of that when you're young, and bringing all of that back up, because sometimes you just threw it away because life happened and you got busy doing this, and then this turned into this, and so you kind of forgot about that passion that you have. But one of mine was film writing. I used to like writing scripts that I don't even know how to write a professional script, but when you're young, you imagine, you just write down the scenes that you have in your mind and thought about, wow, this will make a good movie, this will make a good, I tell you, I was in my head a lot. Actor, that was one of my dreams, of becoming an actor, and I'm still thinking about that, like, because you can act in so many different, it don't always have to be mainstream. Like, I recently stepped into that because I kept saying, I want to do it. So I started like doing extra work, and I did my first extra scene. It was a mini series that a director and producer was putting on down here, a young group of people, and they created a YouTube series, and they trying to get it into I think the Black Film Festival, something like that. However, I played a back, what do you call it? An extra in the background. And it was actually fun. I wanted to get my feet wet and see, like, and I had a great time pretending I was having a conversation. So I had to be in a restaurant scene where, we acting like we're talking. So you can't talk, you have to whisper. So we kind of talked about, before they, said action, we kind of talked about what we want to act like we're talking about. So that way, when we're doing it, it's more natural. And so we just went into and pointing to stuff and laughing and, drinking our tea and food. And this waitress comes to the table and act like she's asking us what we want, actually moving her mouth to ask us, but it's just that it was silent. And so we was like playing with the menu, all of that. But that was actually fun. But I can imagine sometimes it can get very taxing because that was a little short scene. When you have to be on a set for hours, and I was actually there very early, so I probably spent a good 5 or 6 hours because you have to wait till your scene comes, but you just need to be present. And then they may have to reshoot it a couple of times. But if you have a passion for it, that'll be enough, what can I say, energy or reason to kind of stay and do it because you want to see the outcome of it. Okay, so this is the exercise for you to do before we move into the next segment. And when you finish this part, then you can click on the next segment and we'll take it from there. But now I want you to make your list. Okay, make your own list. I want you to use a word list to describe who you are, your attributes, your talents, your skills, whatever. But really, this is really focusing more on your character and your personality. And I want you to write that down. And then after you write that down, then you're going to write on the side of that, because you have this side here that you're going to list your personality and your attributes and all of that. Then over here, you can list maybe professions or careers or businesses that kind of align with your character and who you are. And then down here, I just want you to do things to kind of keep you inspired about it. Affirmations, or however many you want though, but of your favorite, one to four of your favorite positive affirmations or scriptures, they're happy. Because remember, this is your journal and you're using your journal. So this is like your reference book, your reference point. But I hope you gain a lot out of that because I'm really trying to give you an idea. I want you to think broad about things and where they can go, because sometimes we can think very tunnel-minded and not really see the big picture. And I know I'm that individual, but I know a lot of you that person as well, where you see the big picture in things. You see the possibilities, what can happen. You have to have that, at least start something. You have to have a dream. You have to have a vision. You have to have an idea, and you have to write it down and you have to make it plain. And so that's why the next section is going to be about prophetic writing. So I will see you in the next segment and you enjoy yourself.